Petitioner here. Yeah. Come on up. You just want to identify yourself for the record, gentlemen?
Good evening. Redmond McGrath on behalf of the petitioner, Main Event.
And George Theodosopoulos on behalf of Main Event Entertainment.
Great. Any questions from the commission?
No.
See no questions. Does anybody in the public have any questions? All the information was provided, and that, Madam Clerk? Okay. Do you have any questions of us?
No, thank you.
Okay. Chair would accept a motion to release the license to the petitioner.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, can you poll the commission, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McLeod?
Aye.
Commissioner Newell? Aye. Commissioner Gata?
Aye.
Motion carried. Chair would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for Jennifer.
I'm not planning on it. Good, how are you?
Jen, are you ready? Yes. Okay. I'd like to call the Transportation and Road Improvement Committee of the Village of Hoffman Estates on this August 1st, 2016 to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Chairperson Stanton.
Present.
Vice Chairperson Mills.
Present.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Certainly have a quorum. Approval of the minutes of July 11th, 2016.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Anybody notice any corrections or deletions? I don't think you would because it's only about a half a page of that. All those in favor of the motion and second say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the minutes of the 11th are approved. Now, minutes of the July 18th, 2016 meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Anybody notice any corrections or deletions on that? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Yeah, abstain.
Thank you. One abstention. New business, request acceptance of the Transportation Division monthly report.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions regarding that? Seeing none, all those in favor of the report, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. President's report?
Yes, with the leave of the committee, I'd like to do a couple of proclamations during this committee meeting. Do you have the, everybody have them?
Yes. I have the first one.
We're going to do all of them now?
Yeah, we can do them all.
Okay.
Want to do them now?
Yeah.
Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the fire department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department and faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks makes a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department, be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of this village for Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims Sunday, August 14th, 2016, as Michael Burkle Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
I would so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. So moved? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Motion carried. Mike's done a great job for us, and we appreciate his 25 years of service. Come on up, Mike. Bring your family. Bring your family up. Somebody come on up. Congratulations, Mike. Great job. What? Do you want to introduce your family, Mike? Come on up here. We're going to get a picture, too.
My wife Terry, 30 years this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
My son David and my son James.
So Terry's had you longer than we have.
Just a couple. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, I've got the next one. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the fire department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks make a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims Sunday, August 14th, 2016, as Donald Richter Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Appreciate the great job Don's done for us, too. Come on up, Don. Bring your family. Come on up here. Thank you, Don. You gotta follow the leader here. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Want to introduce everybody, Dan?
Sure. This is the oldest Sarah, little one Rachel, and our Emma, the youngest one.
Okay, let's get a picture here. Come on over. It's not the same about Bev up here. Bev can come up.
All right, one, two, three.
Excellent.
All right, I get the next one, Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in ensuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community, and whereas the fire department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community, And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks make a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by the virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Sunday, August 14, 2016, as Raymond Ritter Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Done a great job, too. He's part of the class of Sears. That's a big group.
Yeah.
No, he's not here. Chief.
Sit down.
Why don't you just pull up a chair? You don't have to go through.
I've got the next one. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the fire department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks make a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department, be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by the virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims Sunday, August 14th, 2016, as Russell Slagle Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Chief, come on up. Thank Russ for us.
I'm next. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed towards the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the fire department has upon its roster another individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude towards assigned job tasks make a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desire to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department, be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Sunday, August 14th, 2016, as Richard Trennicross Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
You'll be handing out a lot of plaques tomorrow.
And I have the next one. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed towards the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the fire department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude towards assigned job tasks makes a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desire to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Sunday, August 14th, 2016, as Jeffrey Wilcox Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Now, I should ask, do you want to save these two for the other, or do you want to go through the rest
Well,
of the
we might as well
proclamations?
do it.
Okay. I've got the next one then, and I guess I'm not surprised. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas the sport of baseball is national pastime, and whereas the United States Conference of Mayors in Major League Baseball has come together to recognize August as Play Ball Month, and whereas Play Ball Month encourages families and communities to participate in the game of baseball, thus creating a sustainable enthusiasm for the game. And whereas cities across the country will be coming together during the month of August to support the growth of baseball, and whereas the sport of baseball has produced countless family and community bonding experiences, and whereas the sport of baseball has taught our youth valuable life lessons of teamwork, perseverance, leadership, and sportsmanship, and whereas the sport of baseball has formed a diverse culture showcasing a snapshot of where America stands today, and whereas we recognize the importance and influence of the sport of baseball in the village of Hoffman Estates, Illinois, be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by the virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims August 2016 as National Play Ball Month in the village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all residents and businesses of Hoffman Estates and surrounding suburbs to join in its observance.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Go
Gary
Cubs.
Stanton's the best baseball player we have on the, up here, so it's appropriate that
I
he
watch
read
it
this.
the best.
The next proclamation, I want to do a short statement before it's read. Too many papers. In memory of Debbie Miller, longtime Hoffman Estates resident who recently passed away at the age of 78, I'd like to dedicate the following proclamation, National Book Lovers Day. Debbie was extremely active in the community, serving as a trustee of the Schaumburg Township District Library for over 40 years. According to a recent article in the Daily Herald, Debbie was a strong advocate for libraries, not only in Schaumburg and Hoffman Estates, but across the nation. During her lifetime, Debbie won numerous awards, including the Illinois Humanities Council Studs Terkel Humanities Service Award, the Illinois Library Association Intellectual Freedom Award, and the American Library Association White House Conference on the Library Citizen of the Year Award. In addition to her passion for literacy and her accomplishments with the library district, Debbie was also a strong advocate for the arts. As such, Debbie served with enthusiasm on the Hoffman Estates Arts Commission for 19 years. I'm pleased to say that most recently Debbie was able to participate as the parade marshal in the Hoffman Estates 4th of July parade alongside Barbara A. Nibley. Debbie will surely be missed as well as fondly remembered.
Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas August 9th is National Book Lovers Day, books play such an important part in our world, allowing us to visit exotic lands, travel back in time, and experience life through someone else's eyes. And we get it all of this for free through our local library. And whereas reading can result in boredom or transcendence, rage or enthusiasm, depression or hilarity, empathy or contempt, depending on who you are and what the book is and how your life is shaping up at the moment you encounter it. And whereas reading literature is a way of reaching back to something bigger and older and different, it can give you a feeling that you belong to the past as well as to the present. And it can help you realize that your present will someday be someone else's past. And whereas readers are active participants in the world around them, and that engagement is critical to individual and social well-being. And whereas evidence suggests that children who read for enjoyment every day not only perform better in reading tests than those who don't, but also develop a broader vocabulary, increased general knowledge, and a better understanding of other cultures. And whereas you only limited by what you can imagine, and the worlds described in books, as well as other people's views and opinions, will help you expand your understanding of what is possible. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by the virtue of the authority vested in him, by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim August 9th, 2016 as National Book Lovers Day in the village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all residents and businesses of Hoffman Estates to join in its observance by visiting local libraries, curling up with a good novel, or reading silly stories out loud to children.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, a second, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
We'll present this to the Chambers Township Library.
Mayor, there's, you have an appointment. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to wait for the,
We'll wait for the
Board
board
meeting.
meeting, because that's got to be official with the
Okay.
board meeting, so that's fine.
all right. Do you have anything else to add in your?
No, I'll wait for the board meeting.
Okay. We have nothing in other items in review, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and we are adjourned.
Thank you. I'd like to call to order the Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee meeting for August 1st, 2016. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Chairperson Mills,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Vandenberg,
Present.
Trustee Stanton,
Present.
Trustee Newell,
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata,
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We're all here. Look for a motion to approve the minutes of July 11th, 2016.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Anything to change? Anything that anyone noticed? Seeing nothing, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. New business this evening, number 1, a request by Enon Hill Design and Development for a courtesy review to provide an update of a previously approved single-family subdivision, Air Dry Estates. And for the record, how are you doing this evening?
Good, Chairwoman, Ms. Mills, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Just for the record, I do have to ask you that you and your client understand that your appearance before the Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee meeting shall not constitute any village board endorsement, support, or implied approval of the subject property. You also understand that final project approval or denial shall only occur through official village board action.
Thank you.
And you do acknowledge that,
Yes,
correct?
I do.
Thank you. Please give us your name for the
My
record.
name is Patrick Mazza. I've been representing the Ardrey Estate for over 20 years. Just to give everybody a quick background, I'll be very brief. I think the report that was submitted by Peter Gagliardi and Jim Donahue was pretty succinct and had all the important issues in there. Originally, just for people who may not have been on the board at the time, in 1991, this property was annexed, about 300 acres was annexed to Hoffman Estates. And eventually, the property was sold off little by little, subdivided to some builders like Dartmoor. Some of the property was sold to the Hoffman Park District. Some of the property was sold to the school district. And what remains is approximately 21 lots on Orson Road and McDonough Road that was developed in 2005. After we got approval from the village, 2006, we started construction and put in the improvements. And just to let this meeting is just really to inform the board of the status of the project and where we think we want to go and make sure that the village understands and approves. We, unfortunately, for a while in 2006, 2007, there was tremendous interest in the subdivision. We had 3 signed contracts with significant deposits. We had 6 that we were dealing with, 6 others. We had 100 people that were interested in this subdivision. Unfortunately, 2007, 2008, the real estate debacle happened, and we had to give their money back to these people. They couldn't get financing. And since that time, we have not been able to find any purchasers for those lots. The people may say, where did you get the name Ardrey Estates? The Kelly family immigrated in 1870 from Scotland, and they were born in a town called Ardrey, and they wanted to name this little subdivision in the honor of the people that they grew up with. The property is owned by the trust, the Kelly Trust. Mr. Kelly has passed away. The remainder is Mrs. Kelly, who lives out of state, and it's given me a power of attorney to try to sell these lots after we developed them. Unfortunately, I haven't been successful in doing that for many, many reasons. We've tried on numerous occasions to talk to numerous builders. We've talked to all the big ones, whether it's Toll Brothers, Ryan Builders, Covanian, on and on and on. We've had real estate people like Remax and Baird Warner and Colin Christie and on and on and on, all been retained to help me try to sell these lots, and we haven't been able to accomplish that. When these lots were developed, we envisioned homes in the $750,000 to $1.5 million range. After the debacle, that market appears to have disappeared. We've shown the property to many, many people. Everybody loves the property. Many people want to come back who aren't living in Hoffman Estates, want to be there, but when they find out about the price tag, it just hasn't worked. So the reason we're asking to come before the board the village, is to just let you know what our plans are for the future, and if there's any issues, that we could at least discuss them reasonably. We found a builder who is going to put on a short presentation of the type of home that he thinks would sell in this beautiful subdivision. The lots, as you recall, some of you were here when it was subdivided, are roughly 20,000 square feet. The trees are beautiful. They've been retained on the property. They've been looked at by 3 or 4 experts. Some of them have died during that period of time, but eventually we're going to prune them, and we're going to comply with the village authorities and get the project going. So I'd like to introduce George Cavelli of Worthington Homes, who believes, after studying the project for 6 or 7 months and talking to some potential buyers, that this is probably what will work in the village. George, you want to briefly explain what you think will work?
Thank you, Patrick. Did you want to use this? Yeah, I don't have a flash. Do you have HDMI or? Do you have one of these plugs, possibly? I do not. I have HDMI. I have USB and HDMI. I didn't think. I guess I won't be able to do it. I'll just have to do it verbally. Okay. Well, good evening. I'm George Carabelli. I'm president of Worthington Homes, small private builder developer. And I consider myself a boutique developer in that I approach every site and every project individually and work with that piece of land and look at that piece of land and try and determine what can bring an asset to the community. What can I do with this? How can I make it special? I like to theme my communities. So I like to have certain, a certain feel when you come in. You know you're somewhere else. I prepared a slideshow for you. Unfortunately, we don't have the proper cords. I do believe you saw some photos of some of my work in your packet this evening. I've been working with Patrick for a long time. Ardrey Estates is a spectacular site. It needs tender, loving care. It needs someone who can go in there and deal with each lot on a lot-by-lot basis. The national builders, I don't think, would come in here because you have to go through the topography. You have to go through the tree preservation. You have to have the patience to really make this work and to make it take that effort to deliver the product that it deserves. And by that, it's going to take time. It's going to take time to study the topography. It's going to take time to work with each individual buyer as to how they want to site the home on there. And that alone will help us customize the homes that go in there. A custom home is a loosely used term. A home isn't a custom home just because it's of certain size. It's custom because it starts with the design. It starts with the architectural correctness. It starts with the use of the right materials, the details, the thought process, the planning that goes into it, and the execution. And I really wish you could see my slideshow because I think we're good at that. I think we deliver that. I have the right architects. I have the right team. And we know how to sit down with the people and make that happen. Speak to price for a moment. As Patrick said, you know, before everything was a number, everything was a price, and the price didn't matter because everybody had $1 million. Today, what I find, I used to call it monopoly money, because everybody had $1 million 10 years ago. But, excuse me, I have a subdivision in Lakewood called Cambria, and I have 26 lots there, and we have 6 plans that we're offering there. They're all of European design and European style, and there's a streetscape of that, a rendering in your packet. And what I'm finding from the affluent buyer is they're more worried about the price for the real estate taxes they're going to pay, not whether they can afford it or not. George, I could pay the $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 cash. I'm not worried about that. It's the $20,000 a year I got to pay for the rest of my life. That's where we're seeing price resistance. The other dynamic we're seeing with pricing is there's a gap, and the gap's never been wider between existing and new construction. And that gap pushes 40% in certain areas. In the past, we lived between 15 and 18%, and we could always get over that hump because that newer, nicer home just took it there. It was no problem. Now, when it's 40%, somebody comes into me and they say, George, I got 4,000 feet. It's worth about $1 million, but I can only get 8 for it, so therefore you should take 4 for your house. But more importantly, they come back, we price them up a house at $650, and they're like, okay, well, why should I sell my 4,000 feet for 6 and buy your 3 for 6? Why should I just stay in the bigger house? And I don't have an answer to that objection, other than it's a new house, it's what you want, it's where you want it, you're not going to have repairs, issues like that. But in the end, 90% of them are, doesn't make sense, might as well stay. By the way, my taxes are probably still a little bit lower. So those are some of the dynamics we've run into on the sales side of things. You know, so the objections from the people coming through the door, and what's on their mind, and when they finally drill down to a decision, you know, what comes up. I think we can do the right job at Ardrey. I think we can make Ardrey an asset to the community and something we can all be proud of. It does take, again, a smaller builder like myself that's going to come in there and build them one at a time, not a production builder that's going to come in there with mass production and try and move through them quickly and meet certain financial objectives. We have to take our time. Our typical build time on these are going to be 6 to 8 months. This is not going to be a fast process. With that, I'll invite any questions, concerns.
You mentioned that you've got a project in Lakewood. Where exactly is it?
It's on Halligus Road. It's called Cambria. So we're north of Huntley, west of Crystal Lake. So Lakewood is a small town.
Right.
Yeah. So we're south of 176 by a mile, east of 47 by a mile. Ballard and Halligus would be the main cross streets.
Okay.
And we're within a bigger community called Woodland Hills.
And how many units have you sold out there?
We've sold 2 so far.
Okay. And those would be pretty much the same examples of what you would be proposing over here?
That's what we're proposing. The home, I'd submitted a plan back in April, I believe it was, for permit, or at least for review, and that home is my model home. And something interesting that's happened, and one of the reasons I have a strong interest in Ardrey and sought out Patrick is we're selling homes from that home further east. The sprawl's over. People don't want to keep going farther north. You know, it used to be go 10 miles down the road, save 10, 20%, get a bigger house, something like that. That's over. Everybody would rather be closer in. Everybody wants completed communities. They want to be able to walk somewhere. They want to be able to, you know, everybody wants these downtown urban areas. Now, we don't have that at Airdrie. We're close to the Arboretum, Poplar Creek Crossing, a short drive, and then they have that. The balance of the community is well built out. It's well serviced by the Park District, and I think there's a lot of amenities, Walnut Pond being there. The number one amenity desired by people, believe it or not, is a walking trail. And the fact that we've got the trail around the pond, and I believe it connects to other parts of the Park District, is a big asset for the site.
Okay, now there's 21 lots that are still available over there. Are you looking at processing all 21?
Yes, it's our hope
Okay.
and intention, yeah.
Okay, and what type of time frame do you foresee as a starting point?
We'd like to be in construction this year. That's why we approached the village in the spring, hoping to be in construction this year. I can sell from my Cambria location. When I opened Cambria, I marketed Barrington, Inverness. I marketed a certain demographic, a certain income, And they came out in droves. I had 50 people on grand opening weekend from a 15,000-piece mailer. And they loved it, but they didn't want to be that far.
What type of price range exactly are you talking about here?
Our price range here would probably be mid-fives and up, and it depends where they take us, with their inclusions. Today, the buyers want to add what they want. We try to design a house to specifically how they're going to live in them. So we don't want to sell them the formal dining room or the formal living room or space they don't want. Living has changed completely. And
We're just laughing. We've got a board member who loves living rooms, so that's why everybody's
We don't
like,
know
uh-oh.
why.
Yeah.
One down.
So that's what happens, is that's what I mean, we design it around them. We design with flex design, and we put the space where they're going to use it and where they want it. And that, believe it or not, leads to real estate tax. It leads to everything, because if they're not buying mass square footage just for the sake of square footage, because they're all tax sensitive.
How big of houses are you predicting you'd have there then?
It's
Ballpark.
I would say mid-2000s to mid-3000s.
Okay.
I have my Canterbury model is a 3,200 square foot first floor master. It expands up to 3,800 square feet if we go to bonus room over the garage, and then if we finish the basement, we've got 2,200 feet in the basement. I modeled that home back in '07, and we modeled that at 5,500 square feet with the finished base, with most of the basement finished. So again, it's all about the buyer.
Staff, do we have minimums that we have on that?
No, we don't. And just to kind of clarify this development, it's a little bit unusual. It has been over a decade since it was approved. Basically, there are no minimum or specific lot sizes that were approved or even really discussed as part of the approval. It really was intended to be a custom home development. And Mr. Mazza pointed out, with the topography and the trees, they really do have to design lot by lot on a house-by-house basis, which by its nature is going to drive a custom solution, which is obviously going to not work for a typical tract builder. So we're going to get the type and feel and style of homes that were always envisioned. Everything that they've presented to us on a staff level that we've looked at will conform with the board approvals from before, so they won't need to go back through any formal votes for anything. But just given the time and obviously the change in the economic conditions, we and the developer thought it was appropriate to come back and kind of make this presentation for your sake.
And I apologize for messing up the name of the development earlier.
No,
I stand corrected on that with all of you. Other questions up here, the board?
I do.
Trustee Stanton.
We have 3 models that are pictured for us here. Are these 3 models that you are currently using?
They are, yes.
Okay, and this third model, can you see that picture at all?
I can. So that's actually
Just
was my
one?
original Cambria model. So the original plan of Cambria, we opened up about the same time as Ardrey and had the same outcome. Lakewood is a big house, big lot area, and so they came to me. I did Arbor Glen in Schaumburg, if you're familiar with it. They're the red brick townhouses on the south side of I-90 at Roselle Road, like the southwest quadrant. So my insurance company was the master developer at Woodland Hills, Cambria. And they came to me because of the quality of my townhome, and they wanted a high-quality attached living space that looked like a big mansion, but it was actually attached living. So that's the end, and that's actually the Canterbury unit of a 9,000 square foot, 3-unit. I hate to call them townhomes because they're homes. The smallest one in there's 2,400 feet, but that's what they're legal townhomes, and that's what that photo is of.
So this is really a townhouse that we're looking
Well,
at?
it's a 3,200 square foot townhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's, I prefer to call it a villa or attached single family, because I think townhouse connotes a certain size and a certain quality level, and my work is very custom. That's why, again, I wish I could be showing you this slide. So you do have some interior photos in your packet. You have another photo in there that's a rendering of 4 buildings side by side. Those are the 4 that are being offered in Cambria that would be offered here, in addition to some other plans. Cambria was designed to be a move-down product for people who already live in the area, have the big house on the big lot. They don't want to maintain it. It's probably a little dated, needs a couple $100,000 worth of work, and they're ready to move on. They want to simplify their life. Their kids are gone. So it was an empty nester move down. We were not age restricted, but age targeted. They came, they didn't buy because they can't get anything for their house out there. They got $20,000 and $30,000 tax bills out there, and nobody wants to buy their tax bill. They're stuck in their house. So we'll offer that. I do want to expand my offering into two-story homes to attract families. And a two-story home is a little more price competitive, a value build.
Some of these homes are also ranch homes as well, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those are 3 ranches and a first-floor master, and they were designed for that. Again, that goes back to the vision for the community. That was the vision for that community, was to attract that move-down buyer, while the larger lots in Woodland Hills, half-acre and up, were intended to be the custom, more expensive homes. We were serving the empty nester and the move-down buyer, and then the market changed. Now, I went back in there in 2014. I shut it down in 2009. I mothballed it, as we called it. And I went back in at late 14 and opened up that model. And again, they came, but I've hit all these different objections. But yet, I've been able to sell in Addison. I built that same exact house. If you come and see my model, they took it down to the paint color. I closed on it this morning, and they spent $666 to be in Addison. Because of what they added. They did add some more to the basement, and I sold one in St. Charles. So they want to be in different areas. McHenry County is what's really been hurting me, and that's why I think I can come to Hoffman Estates and have good success, build out Ardrey the way it was supposed to be. And the beautiful thing about it, Ardrey too, is it's virgin. So it's not like that was then, this is now. We're going to have all clean, all the same consistent product in there, and that is going to add value to the community as well as aesthetics.
Now, if somebody wants a 3-car garage, they can have one?
Absolutely.
Okay. And
My
if somebody
lots are-
wants a living room, they can have one?
Finger. Yeah, no, my lots at Cambria, it was designed as a maintenance-free community. So the lots were smaller, very scenic site as well. They never back up to anything. They back up to open space every lot, and a lot of walkouts. So the idea was it's not what you own, it's what you look at. And the site itself creates a lot of privacy. So we have limited availability for 3 cars there, but on the larger lots here at Ardrey, we can, and they want them too. They still want the 3-car garage.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Storage.
Looks like there's other questions.
Trustee Palafis?
So the lower end model, what would you say approximately the square footage would be?
Low 2000s. It would be a ranch. What I'm hearing compared to the model that I have and that I submitted, I'm missing 1 bedroom. I've got 2 bedrooms and a den, or 2 bedrooms and a dining room. So it's a 3-bedroom, and I've already identified the home, and I'm just waiting for the positive answer here to move forward on it. And then we would probably model that home as our first one.
I like the idea of the custom builder style. Actually, I was hoping we'd get a guy like this for Dartmoor, be honest with you, down the road.
I was dying to buy it.
Yeah. Oh, were you?
Yeah, I didn't have
breaks
the
my
money.
heart to hear that. Anyway, but I think it's a great angle in, and I think it's all good.
Trustee Gator, you had your hand up?
Oh, you know what? I was just looking at the photographs that we have, and you're saying like a little over 2,000 square feet. These houses look like they're 3 or 4 or 5,000 square feet.
Well, thank you, because that's the whole idea behind design. We custom design all our plans. We don't buy, cookie cutter plans. And so we allocate the square footage where we think it's, again, flex design, where we think it's important. Kitchen, great room, master bedroom, master suite, bonus rooms. You almost, with the 2-story homes, in order to get the bedrooms upstairs for the kids, it's like you're looking for rooms to put downstairs, because you need something underneath them, or they all end up as ranches. And I think we all know ranches are the most expensive home to build. We cover twice the land and twice the roof, and that. And especially at Ardrey, while the lots are big, the building pads are not exactly big. So we have to fit them in, and we have to work with the tree preservation plan and make them work, and we could do that.
Even looking at the layout of the lots and so forth, they look like they're all over the place. I mean, from small to medium to large to very large. So, and you have the different models that would fit in each one of those lots. So you have one that is small, and I don't know which one, that doesn't say it in here. but yet also with the large. I think it's an excellent idea.
Thank you.
know.
Thank you.
No further questions.
Thank you. Anyone else up here have anything? Is there anyone in the audience who wants to? Yes, if you would please come forward. I need you to come forward and use the microphone and give us your name and address.
Good evening. Terry Riskevich, and I live at 1694 Heron Way. My property will be backing up to your development.
Please
Just a quick
speak into the
question.
microphone.
Do you have
Okay,
any serious barriers currently?
We've done limited
And I need you on the mic.
You both have to be on the mic.
I'm sorry. We've done some limited marketing. I did apply for a sign permit again back in the spring, which was being held up pending the outcome of this meeting, I believe. And so I have about 400 people in my database. I've sat down with 4 or 5 individually that are looking, that want to know more and want to see something happen here. One of the hardest things in kicking a development off, especially like this, is I call them the pioneers. You need somebody who's got to come in and be the first one in. And they're a little hesitant, but the fact that we've got the fence across the road, the weeds got cleaned up, we need to go in, and I call it polish the curbs and make it look good. We need to dig a hole, we need to create some activity, and once that happens, signage goes up, and we create a buzz, I think I will get some signed contracts rather quickly. I really do believe,
Bless you.
while, I can market from my Cambria site while we're doing the work out here, and I do believe we can get some, because the first ones in get first choice on lot. So some want to be on the water, some don't want to be on the water, some want walkout, some, so they get first choice, so that it's too small to say we're only going to release, the first 10 lots. We're just going to open the whole thing up. The road's in, everything's in, so we might as well just open it up and then see what comes in.
So you see yourself breaking ground this year?
Yeah, hopefully, depending on what the process I have to go through with the village, that's the plan, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Now, remind me, are you planning to put a model up or just, sell the sites and market from your other?
We're going to, we intend to build and sell finished homes.
Okay, yeah,
Yes,
but I
yeah.
mean,
So,
you're going
but
to
for right
actually.
now, because I have a model, it gives me an advantage to start sales. And then, then we will put a model. You know what, truthfully, we get real lucky and they start selling, maybe I don't need a model.
But if
But ultimately, yes, if I need it, it'll be built.
Okay. Staff, where do we go at this point, since this is a courtesy review?
It really was just informational. It was really just to get any initial feedback or allow you to ask questions. So we obviously don't need any kind of motion or anything, and we'll work with them on their permit, and they should be.
So it's not going to have to go back through any process, as you had said. It won't go back before planning and zoning or
Correct.
back to us again.
Correct.
So this
Correct.
is, if there's any questions.
Yeah, we'll make sure everything that they're doing. There was a specific set of lot standards, multi-page, I can't remember, a dozen or so pages of detailed instructions about exactly how to go about each lot with the trees and the grading and everything. And that's what they'll have to adhere to. And it was done at the time to accommodate the custom builder approach, because we obviously didn't have a standard set of models at the time. So it seems to be right in step with what we were expecting at the time. It's just 10 years later, so we'll be able to work with them on a staff level on the permit process.
And Mr. Caravelli, you understand that you'd have to live within those guidelines that we set up originally, otherwise you'd have to come back for a hearing, correct?
Correct.
Oh, absolutely, and I've reviewed them all, and I'm well-versed on the building materials and the requirements of the process, and we go out of our way to do it right. When I call it, we give respect in order to earn respect. We need to work together with the village. We never ask for a favor. All we ask for is let's work together and let's put something. Let's create something we could all be proud of. So yes, I've read everything. I've read the annexation agreement. I've read the covenants. I've read there's like Mr. Gugliotta said, a 12-page document of exact process to follow. I'm good at following the rules. Don't always like them, but make sure they happen.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything? Last chance. No one else from the audience? Okay. We wish you luck. Good luck working with staff and with your project. Hopefully we'll see something popping up out there soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, number 2 this evening, request by McShane Hoffman Estates LLC for approval of mass grading and detention pond modifications on the west parcel of Huntington 90 Corporate Center located on the north side of Central Road, west of AT&T Center Drive.
So moved.
Staff, did you wish to address this at all?
Just briefly, this is the Huntington 90 project across the tollway from the Village Hall. Obviously, the east end has been built out with several buildings and been very successful. The west side has really not yet found their initial user. These detention plans for the west side were approved several years ago. Obviously, with the economic slowdown, they were not actually implemented. They came back and received extensions a couple times in the past through this committee, the last of which expired in 2012, and honestly, they were just sitting on it, kind of waiting for the market to come back. The market has come back. They don't necessarily have a building or a developer at this point for any of the lots, but things are much more active in discussions, and they are facing a deadline on their MWRD approvals where they actually need to construct this stuff. So it's not unusual in these type of business parks to go ahead and build the stormwater improvements early, so they're really all in place once that lot developer comes in. McShane Connor Commercial at this point is actually ready to go ahead and do that at this point. So they're really looking to reinstitute the approvals that were granted in the past. The only real change is that they have initially thought that they could stockpile existing trees. That's proven to not work well. It may have been effective if they were dug and held for a year and then transplanted right away, but after several years and the types of trees and the age they were, the failure rate is actually pretty high. So they're really looking to, in the end, when they develop the lots, they'll come in and they'll end up installing, for the most part, new landscaping rather than trying to salvage stuff.
When I read that this weekend, it brought up a question in my mind, and this is something we used to do years ago where we used to ask to have trees donated to the park district or that. Given how many trees we've lost as a village
Yeah.
with the several diseased trees, is there any way any of those trees we could make use of if they were donated?
We would certainly talk to the petitioner and see if
Something
that's
worthwhile, especially with how much trees are costing now
Oh,
to
yeah.
transplant. If we could make any use out of these instead of just pitching them, it'd be great.
Hi, Teresa Ferris with Connor Commercial. Yeah, no, we'd be happy to. We've been working with Pete and Jim. It hasn't been successful in the past to try and preserve them for a year or two and then replant them. As Pete said, the failure rate is really high, but if there's another use for them, that would be wonderful.
I don't know if it's cost worthy for us to look into that or not, but.
We can certainly explore it.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
see
we
if
could talk
there's
with the forester and have them take a look and work with them and see if there's something that we could do.
Yeah, we'd be happy to.
Great. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, Pete. Did you have anything else you
No,
wanted to
that
bring up?
was basically it. That's the only thing that's slightly different. The end result will be the same. Obviously, they'll plant new trees rather than the transplants. But otherwise, all the plans are exactly the same as what was approved before. So,
Okay, and I take it, ma'am, you're also with the petitioner here today?
Yes, I am.
And give us your name for the record.
My name is Eileen Wiczkowski, and I'm with Spaceco.
Thank you. And the petitioner has no problems with any of these conditions that we would be including on this motion to recommend or approve? Just acknowledge that for the record, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Any questions up here? Trustee Palafis?
Is the water just detention only, or is it spring fed? I'm just curious.
No, it's just serving as a detention pond.
Okay. That's all for me.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing no other questions, we do have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Number 3, request approval of Barrington Square Town Center TIF reimbursement request number 3 in the amount of $3,682,677.31.
So moved.
I'll second.
Staff, you got anything to comment on that?
As you would gather from the title, this is the third request that's been submitted, and we've processed the previous 2. This is following the same format. With the approval, we will update the TIF note, which the Finance Director is authorized to do, and bring the totals up to the numbers on the chart that was attached to the agenda item. If there's any questions, be happy to answer them.
Okay. Any questions? Trustee Palafis?
I don't remember adding the numbers, but how far are we from the not to exceed 9 million now?
We are approximately 6 million away.
Of some headroom.
They still have some more to go. The attorney for Caruso mentioned that they would be submitting the costs, the TIF-eligible costs associated with the McDonald's reconstruction, probably in the next month or two.
Thank you.
That'll get them a little closer.
Yeah, I'll bet. Thanks.
Trustee Stanton?
So it's my understanding that while we're approving $3,682,677.31, we're only actually paying them $1,104,803.19. Is that it?
Right, because the way the development agreement was structured, they get 30% up to the 9 million. So, and I'd have to look at the formulas that are embedded into the spreadsheet. But at this point, with the $9.8 million they've spent, their TIF note is only for $2.9 million, based on that 30%. Also, I should mention that they don't get any reimbursement until the TIF generates that money. So, as with the other TIFs in the village, it's pay as you go. So when the money, when the EAV increases and increment is generated, then we would start paying off the note in a yearly amount, whatever is available. And again, subject to the split, there is a portion for the village and a portion for the developer.
Have we actually paid out any money yet then?
No.
Okay. So at some point, they will get $2.9 million.
Potentially.
Yeah.
That increases there.
Okay.
Be good for us if they do.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 4, request approval of the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Annual Action Plan for Program Year 11, 2016 to 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Staff wish to comment on that.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. My name is Ryan Johnson, and I thought I should introduce myself. I have not met all of you yet. And
Ryan, if you could just make sure you do speak into that mic. Thank you.
Sorry. The annual action plan for the CDBG fund is a requirement of HUD on an annual basis. And this year's plan follows the consolidated plan, which we completed last year. The consolidated plan is a 5-year plan, so we're in the second year of our 5-year plan. And for program year 11, we are being allocated $247,693, which is a slight increase from last year. We'll be submitting this with Cook County this year, and we have 2 objectives that we follow for the consolidated plan. The first objective is to provide improvement to public infrastructure and facilities, and the second one is to provide access and affordable housing services and programs, and these are both for low to moderate income residents. For program year 11, which runs from October 1st, 2016 to September 30th, 2017, we'll have a carryover most likely of $330,000. And those monies will be used for neighborhood infrastructure projects. That amount is $198,490, and that could be used for streets or lighting in areas that would qualify with low to moderate income residents. And then the second item would be public facility improvements at $24,700, and that would be used for the old Village Hall, where the CAC Children's Advocacy Center currently resides. The third item would be housing rehabilitation program. That's $58,200. And right now we use a program through Northwest Housing Partnership, and they offer single family homes as a zero interest loan program. And the final portion of that is for program administration, which is for staff time and reimbursement for materials as well. These totals are very similar to last year's totals, except we do have less that we're allocating to the SFR, the Single Family Rehab Program. Last year it was $91,000. We had one resident utilize that this year, and we've carried over those funds to the next year. And so that's where we're seeing that $58,200.
Do we have a waiting list for homes to be accepted under the rehabilitation program?
We do not. In the beginning of the program, we had, and other communities had as well. We've seen that interest sort of wane, but the Northwest Housing Partnership continues to market it, and we'll also put some stories in the Citizen and elsewhere to market it.
Any questions for Ryan? Looks like it's a pretty complete report here. Okay, there's no questions or comments. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you for your report,
Thank you.
and welcome.
Thanks.
Number 5, request acceptance of Department of Development Services monthly report for Planning Division.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Anything planning wishes to highlight?
Nothing at this time.
Don't have any hearings coming up. You need to,
We've got a lot of, we're in a weird period. We had obviously a ton of stuff last year, and that most of that construction is wrapping up this summer, and we've got a lot of things in the works, but for some reason, we're in this stretch where nobody's actually at the commission.
it's too bad. It's a good time of year to be
Hopefully by
getting them in.
fall. Yeah, I agree.
Feast or famine.
Okay, any comments or questions for planning? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Number 6, request acceptance of Department of Development Services monthly report for Code Enforcement Division.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Code wish to highlight anything?
I have a lot of nothing to highlight. Obviously, with today being August 1st, we weren't able to get all the summaries done, but I will distribute that electronically and make sure it's available probably next week.
Sounds good. Seeing no questions, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Number 7, request acceptance of Department of Development Services monthly report for economic development and tourism.
So moved.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Do I have anyone here from economic development wishing to highlight anything?
Nothing to add.
Thank you.
Can
Any
I ask
questions?
yeah, I do.
You sure can.
What happened to Skate America? I mean, not Skate America, but fitness, the program that we had on July, was it 23rd?
With the rain?
Yeah, with the
rainstorm?
rain. I know one of the runs was canceled. How many runs were canceled?
I don't know that. I can find out for you, though.
Glow run.
The glow
Actually,
glow run?
Jeff, do you recall? Wake up.
Oh, that was mean.
Yeah, that day was just a unique day.
Yeah.
I believe the only run that was canceled was the Glow Run, which was scheduled to start at about 10 o'clock that night, and they finally made the decision about 10 o'clock to hold off on running that portion because the storms are still coming through.
Yeah, some of the people were running through the rain. Is that what I'm hearing then?
That's correct. Runners are unique individuals, and they did not want to stop. And the course was laid out where they had to, they were out on the course when it was finally decided to shut down the finish line. And we were trying to inform them as they were coming by that everything was shut down and they needed to just get shelter underneath the building as the race director finally made the decision on that. And they just kept running. They just felt the need to keep running in the rain. They were already wet, so they figured they'd just keep going.
Probably cooled him off, too.
Well, that's fine, except I'm glad that no one got electrocuted out there.
Anything
All right,
else?
nothing else.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. President's review
I'll wait
report?
for the board meeting, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there anything else to come before this committee this evening? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.
I'd like to call to order the General Administration and Personnel Committee for this August 1st, 2016. May we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Vandenberg.
Present.
Vice Chairman Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of minutes for July 11th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I will abstain. Under new business, we have 3 items. Item number 1, request acceptance of cable TV monthly report.
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there any questions from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 2, request acceptance of Human Resources Management monthly report.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions from the board up here? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. And item number 3, request acceptance of Legislative Operations and Outreach monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions for Jen? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. President's report?
I'll wait for the board meeting.
Thank you. We have no other business or items in review, so I will ask for a motion for adjournment.
So
You know,
moved.
I do have a question here in the minutes. On July 11th, it indicates that you were here, and I'm wondering, if you weren't, then we need to correct the minutes for
Yeah.
that. I do remember doing one of these things when you weren't here, and I'm not sure if this was July 11th or not.
I think you had all 3 that night.
I know I had, okay. Then we need to make a correction as to your absence.
And Karen was gone too, I think.
I was here.
Oh, you were here?
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I was gone on the 18th.
Yeah, you were just for
and
that
I
special
was-
meeting.
And I was here on the 11th, so I stand corrected on
Okay.
my abstention. Thank you for calling that to our attention,
Sure.
to my attention. Then if there are no other items or items in review, may I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion passes, and we are adjourned.
Okay, I'd like to,
Aye
All
first.
those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Yeah. All opposed? We are adjourned.
Let's take a short 5-minute break before the
right.
board meeting.
Yeah.
Be back at 8:11.
You want my-
Go do some laps.
Call the first meeting of the month of August of the Village Board to order. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present. Everybody please rise. Trustee Newell, you want to lead us in the pledge?
I'd be honored. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Trustee Newell.
Welcome.
I'd like to note again for the record that this meeting is being broadcast live and will be shown on our cable channel throughout the week. Move on to item number 3, recognition of the audience. This is a time if someone has a question or concern that they want to bring before the village board and the staff for an item that's not on the agenda. Come on down. Come on up to the microphone and identify yourself and let us know.
My name is Paul Ayers. I live at 1083 Florida Lane, Elk Grove Village. I don't live in Hoffman, but I do a lot of work here. And I'd just like to take a few minutes of your time to kind of go over some things that have been happening recently, and hopefully we can resolve a few of them. I did prepare a little printout. I'm not expecting you to read it, but it's just... So I've been a realtor for 32 years. I've sold a lot of homes in Hoffman Estates. Been a planning or property manager for 28 years. I currently manage 9 properties in Hoffman Estates. And I've been a builder for 23 years, and I recently did an insurance job for a doctor in Hoffman that had a water pipe break. So I've never built a home in Hoffman Estates, but I have done construction work in Hoffman Estates. And I've been on a planning commission in Elk Grove for 28 years, so, and I'm still serving. I ran into a couple situations last week, and I thought I just need to come before the board. I've tried to go up the ladder. I just don't seem to get any cooperation. I think sometimes common sense is lacking. So the 2 things that happened last week, I have a property at 2144 Yale. It has a leak, but it's before the water meter. I have to have the village come out, turn off the water at the B box, have the leak fixed, turn the water back on. I was informed there's a $30 charge for that, and that's no problem. But I have a tenant in there, and they say that it goes on the water bill. And I'm like, I'll bring over a check, and I'll just pay you directly. And I got a call back and says, we can't do that. And I'm thinking to myself, you either have to manually add it onto the water bill, or I can come in and you can manually process my check. I just don't want to burden the tenant with a $30 water bill that's not theirs. I realize I can reimburse the tenant, but I thought it would just be much more straightforward for both my owner to understand I had to pay for this and not have a check written to the tenant. So that was the first situation. The second thing that happened, I have a property I manage at 1085 Crowfoot, and it's on the top here. And it's an Indian family. We did the inspection with Tony, Inspectional Services, about 3 months ago. He came up with 5 items for me to repair. I promptly fixed the 3 things.
Is your mic off?
I'm sorry, let me.
Okay.
I promptly fixed the 3 items that I could fix. The other 2 were the tenant had taken 1 or 2 smoke detectors, taken the batteries out, and they were working when I rented it to him. He has to put the batteries back in. And the second one was they fry a lot of food, and so the screen where the recirculating hood was greasy, and the inspector wanted that cleaned. So meantime, I tried to get a hold of my people, no phone calls returned, whatever. And I knew the wife was out of town for 3 months. Turns out he's in India also now and doesn't return till the 21st of August. I have a deadline of August 8th. So I called again and I asked if we could just extend this till they come back. And you can see the response I got, and it basically says they consider a non-working smoke detector a major problem, and they want this addressed right away. The house is vacant. I have 6 out of 8 smoke detectors working in the home, and even if there's a fire, there's no central alarm. It's going to take a neighbor or somebody to call, you know, to take care of it. So to me, I would think just common sense, just let me have a little bit of time till the, till the owner comes back, and then we can do the inspection. They have to do those 2 items. So at this point, I just told the guy, get a friend to fix the smoke detectors and clean the grease off the filter, and you'll have to allow me to come in with the inspector to do it. And that's where we're at. He hasn't responded to that request yet. So, but I just don't understand why, we can't be given a little bit of time. And if it was just those 2 issues, I don't think I would be here. But we continue on, and, the other issues I have is I did a contract sale in Hoffman, and the village position was that a contract sale is considered a rental, and they wanted my new owner of the property to come in and fill out a rental application and go through the inspection process. So even though I called, I showed them the closing statement, everything else, it wasn't good enough. And finally, at the bottom here, you can see where we had to get the attorney involved and say, that the IRS recognizes a contract sale, it's a legal sale, and that there's no landlord-tenant situation. So that finally got resolved after we sent the 23-page contract to them that shows that the sale actually did happen. And I guess I would just say, I don't understand why, when you deal with, the public employees, why is it so difficult? Why can't we work together? I take a lot of pride in the job I do. My properties are maintained extremely well. I'm very fussy about the tenants I put in, and the inspectors know me. I get along fine with all the inspectors, no problem. But it just seems like when I get into the village hall, I think common sense just seems to, to disappear. Last year, what kind of came to a head was when I was dealing with Peter, and I have several clients that live overseas. I got one in Hong Kong, one in Taiwan, and one in Korea. And for years, this is your 3rd year of the program, I've signed the applications. I sent in the rental licenses, I filled them all out, I signed them, I sent one check in, and there was no problems. This year it was a problem. They said that I didn't have the authority, to be signing on behalf of the owner. Well, I looked at your ordinance and I attached it. It's towards the back, and it says that it's an owner or agent. I'm an agent. I have a signed licensed agreement. I can go to court and for eviction proceedings. I'm recognized as representing the owner. I'm the same as an attorney. I'm not, but I mean, I have like the same authority to act on behalf of the owner. And yet, this is the only community that refuses to either accept my signature or mail the documents to me. If you have a problem with one of my tenants, like I said, I got 3 out of the country, and I've got 2 guys that travel extensively. You mail something to them, they may not get it to me for 2 weeks. You mail it to me or email me, I'll take care of it right away. It doesn't make any sense to me that I have to send overseas the application every year and have it signed when I think your ordinance clearly states that an agent can do that. But I think Peter said he ran it up to the village attorney, and he said that, no, the owner has to sign it. And I printed the full, below that, there's 8 things that are required on your form, and nowhere does it say that the owner has to sign the petition. It doesn't address that at all. And I just felt like, why are we, It's so much simpler if you would just send me the applications. I'll put the owner information in there for you, phone numbers, email, address, but why can't I sign it and just send you one check for all the properties? I don't think that was your intent when you did the ordinance. I don't, I can't speak to that, but I just, little difficult. I think when you first did this ordinance, it was probably presented to you, it was to protect the safety of the tenant. And I want you to know I agree with it 100%. This started in Palatine, and I've had properties in Palatine for a really long time, so I'm very familiar with this process. Palatine does the inspections, but, every year it creeps. Now, it's all the communities pretty much have inspections, but every year it changes. So I'm on my third time around now with Hoffman inspections, and every year they start asking for different things. What passed last year no longer passes this year, and it just creeps. And I'll give you examples. Addison doesn't allow extension cords in rental houses. Schaumburg, they want a GFCI in the garage outlet in the ceiling installed by a licensed electrician pulling a permit. Streamwood wants HVAC contractor in every year to clean the furnace. I mean, what started out as a good idea is just slowly growing to where, you're at the whim of whatever the village wants to enforce. And I would just like, I don't know if you're aware of it all or not, but I just wanted to make some of that, make you aware of some of it. Common sense is what I think I'm asking for. The last thing is, and this is on the building side, I sold a home on Pleasant. The house was rehabbed by, not me, but by my client. He had a carport. So my guy wanted to enclose the one car and make it a one-car garage. You have an ordinance that says if you have room, you're supposed to put a two-car garage up. Well, the numbers didn't work to put a two-car garage up, and they wouldn't allow us to enclose a carport, which I think you would prefer having a one-car garage versus a carport. I don't think that was the intention of your ordinance, but that's what happened, and I couldn't get anywhere. I was assured that you couldn't go for an exception to the rule. You wouldn't support it. You wanted a two-car garage. And so we sold the house with a carport, and now if you go over there, you got the garbage cans under the carport, and you got all the other personal stuff, bicycles, and it's kind of an eyesore where you could have had a nice one-car garage up. But again, I was just told you have no hope. I thought, being a planning commissioner, I would think that it would make some sense to your zoning board, maybe to make an exception in that case, but they said, no, you'll never get that. So again, I don't think that was the intention of your ordinance, but this is what's happening downstairs, or actually across the hall. So anyway, I appreciate your time. I'll do what I have to do to make it right with Hoffman. I don't want my clients fined, but I just would really appreciate it if a little common sense would be used just once in a while. I mean, this water bill doesn't make any sense to me, and certainly an absentee, tenant at the moment doesn't make any sense to me either.
Well, thank you very much for your comments, and I'm sure they'll be looked into.
All right, Mayor, thank you very much. Board, thank you.
Anyone else have anything they want to bring forward? Now we'll move on to item number 4, approval of the minutes, July 18th.
So moved.
A second.
There's a motion, there's a second. Are there any questions on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. All righty.
For real, okay.
Stanton agrees.
Move on to consent agenda. Is there a motion?
A second.
There's a motion and a second. Anybody want to pull any of these items? Any comments on them?
It's the two of them.
It's two. Seeing no questions, can you pull the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Vanderberg.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye, motion carried. Move on to what we haven't done in committee and president's report. One appointment, that of Lon Harner to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have a motion carried. I do have a couple of items here. Got a letter of thanks from a resident thanking the Code Enforcement Department for the great job they've done in their neighborhood, and also for an inspector who came out and inspected their new driveway, and they were very impressed with the inspector, the knowledge, and the fact that the inspector made sure that it was done right, which is always a good thing. Also, I met, as you may recall, over a year ago, Coal City, Illinois experienced a devastating blow when on June 22nd at approximately 10 p.m., an F3 tornado hit the city. This was one of 9 tornado events in the area over the course of the evening. The path of the tornado was 3/4 of a mile wide and 16.5 miles long. Wind speed approached 160 miles per hour, picking up strength as it passed over Coal City. When all was said and done, and more than 800 homes were affected. Fortunately, there are no fatalities and only minor injuries. More than 30 fire and EMS units and 70 police departments responded to the emergency. Over 20 municipalities, including Hoffman Estates, responded with assistance of truck, equipment, and volunteers. Proud to say the village of Hoffman Estates was able to assist in the operation by sending 2 employees, Joe Capiga and Ryan Oshana, along with a grapple truck to aid in the cleanup process. Recently received a thank you note from Coal City, which reads, "Dear friends, a mere thank you is not enough to express how grateful I am for all you've done for the residents of our humble town. I'm truly amazed at your outpouring of support, given at a time when it was needed the most. I want you to know that your help did not go unnoticed, and I and the residents of Coal City will ever be in your debt. Our community did not go through this devastation alone. You helped keep Coal City strong. Thank you so very much." That was from the village clerk in Coal City. Yes. No one's disagreeing with you, Madam Clerk. Well, we haven't met in a while. On Tuesday, the 19th, I had the opportunity of a meeting with Senator McConchie, who took over from Dan Duffy, and look forward to working with him in the future. On Wednesday, the 20th, we had the business after hours at the Hilton Garden Inn on Barrington Road. It was a very nice event. They always do such a good job in the events there. On Saturday, the 23rd, we had the Victoria North Playground naming of the park for Pete Smith, who was very instrumental in having the village be one of the first communities to pass the handicap access ordinance for public buildings. Later, we had the Barrington Square Homeowners Association annual picnic and the private court unveiling of the Windy City Bulls of court at the Sears Center. First game the Bulls will play at home. The Windy City Bulls will be on November 11th. And as mentioned before, on Saturday the 23rd, we had the Fitness for America, which had more runners than they've had in the past. It's unfortunate that the Glow Run wasn't able to take off. On Sunday the 24th, we had the open house, the Historical Sites Commission had at the Sunderledge. Just force a habit. On Tuesday, the 26th, Mike Hankey and I attended a PACE public hearing regarding the pedestrian bridge over Barrington Road. And on Wednesday, the 27th, there was the multi-chamber after hours at the Sears Center, Windy City Bulls once again. And on the 28th, we had the High Place at Hoffman had their summer celebration. It was a great event, and a chance to talk with some of the folks from Umran over there. That was great. And on Friday the 29th, I had the opportunity to go with Bruce Anderson, and we interviewed Brian McGuire, the township supervisor, about their food pantry and the other services they provide. Had the opportunity to briefly stop by at the Golden Age of Hollywood, the Luella Parsons presentation, which the woman was very good. And I spoke at the Schaumburg Hoffman Rotary on Friday afternoon. Saturday the 30th, we had the Streamwood Summer Parade, which is always a great event. The people are so nice out there, and I really enjoy that parade. Later in the afternoon, I attended the memorial service for Jim Dutton, a former acting chief for the village of Hoffman Estates, an all-around really good guy. And on that evening, we attended a block party along with Trustee Gate and Trustee Newell on Park Lane, which was always a fun event. They have a good time. They have a good time there. And Darren has that Jimmy Buffett bar that he's got, yeah. Yeah, they bring it out to Jimmy Buffett. He's got 5 tops. signed by people. So we all got to sign it. Yes, trustee Newell.
And you also, such a busy day, stopped at the disability picnic
Oh,
at the
yes, we did.
township,
Disability
which you got to meet Elvis in person.
Yes, we had our
so,
pictures taken
yes.
with Elvis, didn't
Yes.
we? Yeah. So that was a very exciting day. I don't get to see Elvis every day of the week, so thank you for pointing that out. Trustee Palafis.
You also spoke at Debbie Miller's funeral
Yes, I
session,
did.
which was really great.
That was
Get some good laughs and stuff.
I wish we would have known when that was. Yeah, we didn't get that in time.
They didn't really
They didn't really publicize
publish it in the Herald. I only knew because her daughter emailed Michelle like the night before.
Yeah.
So
All righty, that's all I got. We'll start with trustee comments. And we start with trustee Newell.
Okay. Well, we'll go back a little bit too, to July 21st. Attended the Village Green and kept our fingers crossed that the weather wasn't going to change. On the 23rd was a very busy day, as the mayor had mentioned. We did the dedication at Victoria Park for the Peter M. Smith Playground, and my grandchildren officially played on it yesterday and,
All right.
saying kudos to the whole thing. So I was like, go for it. Also on that day was the Barrington Square picnic, which everybody enjoyed, and it was so nice it was brought inside because of the really bad heat. The Bulls D unveiling at Sears, which was exciting, and the America Fitness. So the 23rd was a very, very busy day. The 24th was the Sunderlag open house, and of course the ice cream, which was looked forward to on another hot day, and the car show that was out there. So that was kind of cool to see. The 30th, of course, is the Streamwood Parade, which we enjoy marching in, and the Disability Picnic, which was at the township. And then last but not least, the block party on Park Lane. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Stanton.
Boy, caught me by surprise.
Jump around.
All right. On the 23rd, like many of us, I did attend the Park District renaming ceremony for Peter M. Smith, and also thereafter we went to the Barrington Square Homeowners Association annual picnic, which everyone has already indicated it was inside because of the heat. On the 23rd, also later in the afternoon, I went to the Windy City Bulls basketball court unveiling event, and later that afternoon, I was there for the Fitness for America kickoff event. On the 30th, I did walk in the Streamwood Summer Parade with many of us, and also on the 30th, I attended the Schaumburg Township Disability Picnic. That's it.
Great. Trustee Palafis.
I also did a number of those activities, and as well, I just wanted to, bring up the fact that we have another summer concert this Thursday. Today we had our another Plots concert meeting. Actually, Mr. Copland just gave me the handouts for I don't know if you can get that on the camera, for the superhero walk, run, and roll. It's sponsored by Amita. And the Plots concert is getting close, so we're looking forward to that event. Also attended the service for Debbie Miller, which was a nice service, only because, of Michelle and Joan being on the email, I think is how I got it the night before, and just happened to, head over there. So, Debbie was not only fantastic on the library and all the things she did there for literacy, but was also a faithful arts commissioner for a very long time, and really knew how to do things in the disabilities world. She was fantastic. So early on, with our boys, she gave Michelle and I a lot of great wisdom and advice. So it was good to be there. Also, Mayor, we went to a session. AJ's been a part of this initiative called Connected Community, which is really, they study him as a person and place him at jobs and different things. So they invited some of us who know him, and of course he invited the mayor, as all of you know who were at the last coffee with the board. So nevertheless, we went, and they're doing some great work with him, so that was fun. I would have made some of the activities Saturday, but I was building a set. My youngest son, Caleb's going to be in a musical this coming weekend. So that really rounds it out for me.
Where's the musical at, again, Trustee?
It's actually, he's a part of Schaumburg on Stage, and he's JoJo in Seussical, the musical. It's at Barrington High School. If anybody's interested, I can, send you the dates and times and whatnot. And then I got Michelle's birthday this week, so the Smith girls celebrate their birthday all week long. So we're doing something literally every day. So so it's a no travel week for the Gerster. So I'll be around.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Mills.
Thanks. I also was at the Business After Hours at Hilton Garden on the 20th. They had a very nice turnout for it. And later that evening, I attended the Northwest Mosquito Abatement District meeting out in Wheeling. On the 23rd, of course, I was at the Barrington Square open house, and I thank all of you for attending that day, even though we moved inside. And then went to the unveiling of the Windy City Bulls floor design that evening. 24th, the Historic Sites open house over at Sunderledge Farm. The car exhibit was a nice added touch to it this year, the older cars. Very sorry to hear about the passing of Debbie Miller. I heard about it from several of the committee members at the open house at Sunderledge Farm that Sunday, and glad we were able to give her a little treat this summer with the parade marshal position. I'm sure she enjoyed that, knowing the way Debbie enjoyed the village. She really enjoyed being a part of ours and always was involved. Two things. Tomorrow night's National Night Out with the police department, and everyone is invited to Barrington Square. We'll be having its hopefully outside with the weather. We've got some contingent plans otherwise, but everyone's invited to participate and join us tomorrow evening from 6 to 8 over at 1800 Williamsburg. Cool. And then the police have another event, I think, coming up at Sycamore Park later that evening at 8 o'clock. So please make sure you get involved. National Night Out is, as they say, nationwide, and is to show support in your neighborhoods and that you take pride in your homes and your areas. And another thing, this is the last week, I believe, for the donation of school supplies for the Chamber's Tools for Success. And that's another great opportunity, even if you can only donate a box of crayons or some pencils or that, help out the kids who are in need of supplies that may not be lucky enough to have mom or dad go to the store to pick up everything for them. This gives them a little added help. And there's donation sites. I know there's one here at the Village and many other sites at Village Hall and in other sites in town. That's all I have. Thank you.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you. I also attended many of the events that the rest of you attended. On Thursday, the 21st, Voyage at the Village Green was great until the weather moved in, and unfortunately they had to call it, but they were a great group. And then on the 23rd, along with all the other trustees, the renaming of Peter M. Smith Playground, and then Barrington Square Homeowners Annual Picnic. Thank you, Trustee Mills. The hot dog and the popcorn and the lemonade, and we always look forward to seeing our friends there.
Thank you.
Then the private court unveiling for the Windy City Bulls. Miss not seeing Benny the Bull there, Mayor. We were really hoping that he might show his appearance and, maybe, I don't know.
We're tight. Yeah. Benny and I are tight.
And then Fitness for America at AT&T rounded out that day, that full day. And then on the 25th, we had a Plots Commission meeting. And 2 days later, on the 27th, I was lucky enough to go up to the EAA Air Venture in Oshkosh for a week and see 10,000 airplanes up there. It's quite a sight up in Oshkosh. Today we had another Plots concert meeting. We are, like Trustee Floffice said, pushing our 5K. If anybody who is watching this wants to sign up on active.com for the 5K, it starts at 9 a.m. on the 10th of September. The cost is $35 for the runners, and we're hoping, we had over 100 people last year, hoping for that plus this year. Thanks for that little mini commercial, Trustee Flavis. Active.com, September 10th. My condolences to Debbie Miller's family. She was such a nice lady. I didn't know her very well, but every time I ran into her, she always had a kind word, a nice smile, something positive to say, and I really, really enjoyed my time knowing her. And like I said, my condolences to her family. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Gata.
Wow, I thought you forgot about me.
No, I wouldn't forget about you. You're unforgettable.
Well, let's see, Wednesday, the 20th, right? Again, we attended many of the same things. Business after hours, that was at the Hilton Garden. Then on Saturday, the 23rd, we all had gone to the dedication for Peter Smith at the playground. We also went to Barrington Square HOA picnic. And then for the private court unveiling at the Windy City Bulls. And then, of course, also on Saturday the 23rd for the fitness kickoff at the AT&T campus. And then on the 24th, we went to the Sutherland open house. And yeah, I like that idea of doing the cars. Did you see that motorcycle that had the sidecar? Mm-hmm. Right? That one was interesting. Anyways, we'll keep going. Otherwise, this is getting too long. On Saturday the 30th, we walked at the Streamwood Parade. Also that day, we had gone to the Schaumburg Township for the disability picnic that was there, and also with the block party that was at 865 Park Lane. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Very much. Let's move on to the village manager's report, 6C.
I do have one item tonight, Mayor.
You guys are just so chatty.
It relates to an emergency expenditure for the police department building. On July 24th, actually, that morning of the storm that caused troubles with the fitness run continued through, and it caused our police department building to lose power completely. And we believe it was due to a lightning strike that evening that damaged the UPS unit for that facility. It affected the power to the building, but it also affected the backup emergency power to the building. The UPS unit controls that, and when that went out, we had no power whatsoever in the building. Obviously, that's a problem when one of your emergency services facilities doesn't have power. Public Works was quick to get involved to restore the power, which they did that same day. But it was only a temporary repair, and it's still only a temporary repair. And we need to make the permanent repair to that building. We ordered the equipment through the emergency expenditures, and the cost of the repair is $61,653. You were all informed of this last week. And have seen the detailed invoice for it, which you have again tonight in front of you. We believe it'll take probably 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4, to get the equipment in so we can make the permanent repair. And this is presented to the board so you guys can actually make the formal approval of the expenditure. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them.
Chair, accept the motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Trustee Palafis.
I've had quite a couple of weeks while Mr. Norris has been gone, Dan. Tents
he-
ripping off into ponds.
He has
and
great time.
Lightning strikes. Yeah.
It happens every year.
Right.
Does.
Right. Great job on all of those
It's
things. And taking fast action to get resolution.
Okay, we do have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? Trustee Mills.
Yeah, were we able to get everything pretty much up to working condition, at least on a temporary basis at the police department now?
We have that, I want to say it was around 11.
Chief?
oop.
We got the chief here.
It's already moving.
It was around 11 o'clock or so when we had full power back to the building. We kind of are on a temporary fix because we had to bypass the UPS unit, but we do have power to the building. Chief can go into some detail about things that we had to do that morning to allow us to continue with when the power was out, but we managed to get through that pretty well.
I think you guys did a great job getting over the hump, but mainly so everything is at least in operating condition at this time, too.
Yes, it is. The power was able to get restored fairly quickly. The information services side of things, like our phones, which are connected to the internet, those took a little while to get back online, but those came back online. And then it took a little while to actually make the reconnections to networks and things like that we use for our
report writing systems and things like that, but IS Division and Public Works were able to work pretty hard on getting those things up and running as quickly as we could. By, I think, Sunday and into Monday, everything was working again the way it's supposed to. Early Monday morning, things were slow in making the connections, getting the printers back online, but by Monday afternoon, everything was back the way it was supposed to be.
What do you do in case you have prisoners in something like this? Do you transfer them somewhere?
We have a standing contract with Schaumburg, an agreement with them, a mutual aid agreement, so we usually borrow their facility and they borrow ours. Like next week, they'll be borrowing ours because they have some service work done on their lockup facility. But that is a typical standard thing for us anytime that we have either power outages or even if our computer connections to Cook County through our live scan system, if that goes down for some reason, then we use their facility.
It's great that our people work so close together with the neighboring communities. Trustee Vandenberg.
When the prisoners are in their cells, does the lock still stay locked on the?
Yeah, those are redundant lock systems. There's an electronic lock and then also a manual lock. So you'll see if, when you do the tours by us, typically the electronic lock can be opened by the front desk, but then also on our little key ring, they have the giant self-lock, the old school self-lock key that's a giant locking key, and we can use that to stay. So they'll stay locked, but then you would think with no power, you wouldn't be able to unlock it because it's electronically locked, but you unlock it with the manual key, and then that works out.
Old-fashioned old keys, right?
That's right. Lock and key.
It's a giant, like if you want Andy Griffin. That's exactly how it works.
Hook right behind them.
Exactly.
All the prisoners can grab it, yeah.
Anything else on this?
I have a question.
Yes.
Insurance purpose. Do we have insurance on this kind of a thing?
We do, and this will actually go through the insurance fund to pay for it.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
The tent also.
The tent also.
Yes.
And we'll
Time
see.
to have insurance.
Yeah, yeah. We're still, actually, now that you raise that, we are still looking at that repair to see how quickly and what that's going to cost. And I did want to say thank you to Public Works for them responding as quickly as they did when the police outage happened. To get them up and running as quickly as they did was just a great job.
If you don't mind me, if I may, another kudos to them. A while back, several years ago, we had a power outage, and actually it was a power surge that fried, like our breathalyzer machines got burned out from it. So back in that time, the Public Works and IS, I think, rerouted some of the way the wiring was done. And in this power outage, which was, we believe, a lightning strike, we didn't lose any of our systems in that fashion. So those were all back up and running and certified, so no problem.
That's good.
Great. Anything else from anybody? Seeing none, can you pull the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Gata. Trustee Vandenberg.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye, motion carried. Move to 6D, Village Clerk's Report.
Since everybody's talking.
It's your turn.
Yeah, I've already got mine written down. You guys have to like submit your stuff earlier. During the month of July, 50 passports and 148 FOIAs went through the village. That was quite a large number of FOIAs. But people are looking for stuff, and we are complying with all the FOIA rules to get them out to them. That's all I've got.
Okay. Move on to additional business. Chair would accept a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
There's a motion, a second. Any discussion? Anybody want to pull any of these items? See no discussion. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Palafis. Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye, motion carried. Move on to 8, adjournment for what reason to executive session, Trustee Mills?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn into executive session for the purpose of litigation 5 ILCS 120/2C11.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion, there's a second. Is there any discussion? See no discussion. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye. Motion carried. We are adjourned and will not be coming back out tonight.